You are watching the highlight reel of the best team in the NFL. This is the Green Bay Packers. The journey started back in 2020 when the Pack finished 13-3, which earned them the No. 1 seed in the NFC and a first-round bye. After taking care of the Rams in the divisional round, they were headed to their second straight NFC Championship game where they would take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a rematch from Super Bowl 45 back in 2011, which saw the Packers win their last championship. But this time around, Tom Brady would get his revenge, defeating the Packers 31-26 to head to the Super Bowl. But this team was just getting started because now with an entire year under their belts and a chip on their shoulder, they were ready to make their move. They got off to a fast start in 2021, winning their first 5 games. However, in Week 6, they suffered their first loss of the season against the rival Chicago Bears. It was a tough loss to swallow, but it was a wake-up call that they needed to buckle down if they wanted to compete with the rest of the top teams in the league like the Cardinals, Rams, and 49ers who all had their eyes set on the prize. The Packers went on to finish the regular season 13-3 once again, earning them the No. 1 seed in the NFC and another first-round bye. After taking care of the 49ers in the divisional round, they were headed to the NFC Championship game for a second straight year, where they would take on the upstart Los Angeles Rams. The Rams were led by a prolific offense that was averaging over 30 points per game. During the regular season, their high-powered attack was led by quarterback Matthew Stafford, who had a career year throwing for over 4,000 yards and 41 touchdowns. The Rams' defense was also a force to be reckoned with, finishing the regular season ranked second in the league in points allowed and third in yards allowed. It was going to take everything the Packers had to pull out a victory, and in a game that came down to the very last second, they were able to do just that, winning 23-20. It was a hard-fought battle, but the Packers were able to grind out the victory thanks to a late field goal by Mason Crosby. As time expired, this was the team's first trip to the Super Bowl in 6 years. Now the Packers were looking to make it to championships in 3 years, when they took on the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. This was the Bengals' first Super Bowl appearance since 1989, so they were hungry for a win. The Bengals were led by a young, dynamic quarterback in Joe Burrow, who had taken the league by storm in only his second year. He was surrounded by an explosive offense that featured a trio of talented wide receivers in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. The Bengals' defense was also stout, finishing the regular season ranked 4th in the league in points allowed and 5th in yards allowed. But despite the challenge ahead of them, the Packers were confident they could pull out the win. As the big day arrived, the excitement was palpable. It was clear this was going to be a close one. The Bengals struck first with a touchdown pass from Burrow to Chase, but the Packers answered right back with a touchdown run by Aaron Jones. The first quarter ended with both teams tied at 7 apiece. In the second quarter, the Packers took their first lead of the game on a touchdown pass from Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams. However, the Bengals responded with a field goal just before halftime. The Packers went into the locker room with a slim 14-10 lead. In the third quarter, the Bengals came out firing and quickly marched down the field to score a touchdown and take their first lead of the game. But the Packers answered right back with a touchdown run by A.J. Dillon. With the score tied at 21 going into the fourth quarter, it was anyone's game. With the clock winding down, the tension was building. The Packers had the ball with less than 2 minutes remaining and they needed a score. On fourth down, Aaron Rodgers scrambled for a few yards, keeping the drive alive. Then he found Adams for a 25-yard gain to move the ball into the red zone. On the next play, he connected with tight end Rob Gronkowski for a 6-yard touchdown. The Packers had taken the lead with only seconds left on the clock. The Bengals had one last chance to tie the game, but Joe Burrow's pass fell incomplete and the Packers were crowned Super Bowl champions. This was the Packers' 4th Super Bowl victory in franchise history and their first since 2011. The night belonged to Aaron Rodgers, who was named Super Bowl MVP after throwing for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was a performance that cemented his legacy as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. As the confetti rained down and the crowd roared, the Packers knew they had made history. Their journey had been long and hard, but the reward was worth it. They were the Super Bowl champions. So let's take a look at the moments that made it happen. No. 1. A dominant defense. All season long, the Packers' defense was a force to be reckoned with. They finished the regular season ranked No. 1 in the league in points allowed and No. 2 in yards allowed, and they carried that momentum into the playoffs where they allowed only 20 points per game. In the Super Bowl, They faced a tough test against the Bengals' high-powered offense, but they rose to the occasion, limiting Cincinnati to just 10 points. Key players like linebacker Devander Campbell and Kenny Clark anchored the defense and made big plays when it mattered most. Campbell finished the game with 14 tackles and 1 sack, while Clark added 8 tackles and 1 forced fumble. Number 2, an explosive offense. While the defense was dominant, the Packers' offense was equally explosive. They finished the regular season ranked No. 1 in the league in points scored and No. 2 in yards gained. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers was at the helm of the offense, and he put on a clinic in the Super Bowl, completing 23 of 39 passes for 272 yards and 2 touchdowns. His favorite target was wide receiver Davante Adams, who caught 12 passes for 142 yards and 1 touchdown. When the Packers needed a big play, Rodgers delivered, connecting with Adams for a 25-yard gain late in the fourth quarter to set up the game-winning touchdown. No. 3. A balanced attack. One of the keys to the Packers' success was their ability to establish a balanced attack. They were able to run the ball effectively, averaging 138.6 rushing yards per game during the regular season. And they also had a passing attack that could light up the scoreboard, averaging 176.2 passing yards per game. This kept defenses on their toes and made it difficult for them to prepare for the Packers' offense. In the Super Bowl, the Packers ran the ball for 174 yards and threw for 272 yards. This balance allowed them to control the clock and keep their defense fresh. No. 4. A coaching mastermind. Head coach Matt LaFleur called the shots for the Packers, and he proved to be a mastermind on game day. He was able to make the right adjustments at the right time, which was crucial in close games. For example, in the NFC Championship game against the Rams, the Packers were trailing by 3 points with only seconds remaining. LaFleur called a pass play on 4th down that resulted in a 39-yard gain and set up the game-winning field goal. His ability to be aggressive when needed and make smart decisions under pressure was a key factor in the Packers' success. Number 5, a team effort. Ultimately, the Packers' success can be attributed to their ability to work together as a team. They were able to overcome injuries and adversity throughout the season and never lost sight of their goal. When the team needed a big play, someone stepped up and made it happen. This was evident in the Super Bowl when linebacker Preston Smith forced a fumble. That gave the Packers the ball in Bengals territory. The defense then held strong, allowing the offense to score the go-ahead touchdown. The Packers' success was a true team effort. These unstoppable forces combined to create a powerhouse team that was destined for greatness. Their journey to the Super Bowl was nothing short of spectacular, and their victory was a testament to their hard work, dedication, and teamwork. The Packers' legacy was secured, and their fans could bask in the glory of their team's triumph. As the cheers echoed through the stadium and the confetti fell from the sky, the Packers knew they had created a moment in time that would be remembered forever. Their names would be etched in history, and their place in the hearts of their fans would be solidified. The unstoppable force had arrived, and the Packers were here to stay. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to support us. We appreciate your support and hope to see you in the next video.